Good day, ma'ams and sirs, and welcome to the Number 9 with Tommy podcast. Hey, Tom, do you know that gasoline and styrofoam makes napalm? That's a fact, but it isn't exactly a must. How's this little fact discussed? Skin cells, dead skin cells, are the main ingredient in household dust. I've even got a fact that perplexes. German chocolate cake was invented in Texas. Here's a fact that's surprising and most definitely doesn't stink. Lemons float, but limes sink. This one could be the most shocking fact, probably. McDonald's once sold bubblegum flavored broccoli. This one spits in the face of nomenclature and logic, if you know what I mean. There are tons of variety of oranges that are actually green. Anyway, Putin's trying to kill everybody and their brother. If you have $1 for gas, you'll be needing another. Baseball's going to have a season, and winning an argument in America no longer requires reason. Now, here to do what he does while he's doing it, here to say what he says while he's spewing it, my man, T Double Double, taking his podcasting shout out here, just pewing it. Tom fucking Washington, what's been up, man? How are you?
I am fantastic, Patrick. Fantastic. You didn't know that common household dust was skin cells?
I did know that.
I learned that
but
in...
here's the thing, Tom. I was looking for facts and looking for rhymes at the same time, so that one was an easy one for me.
I found that out through the great movie Medal of Honor. Or Men of Honor.
I was going to say...
Yeah, not
whatchamacallit? It's probably somewhere in Matchstick Men as well. I don't know. Whatchamacallit? I didn't know that, first off, oranges were originally green. The breeds of oranges that we see now that are orange, coincidental. The first set of oranges were green, but out in like Thailand and Vietnam, all their oranges are green, which kind of defeats the purpose of calling them oranges.
Yeah, I wonder why they call them... Well, maybe they're orange on the inside. Maybe the peel is green, you know?
Could be. I know, like, you know,
I'm telling you this right now.
Chips, the green part of a potato chip is because that section of the potato that's underground is actually exposed. So that section of the potato is above ground. So it photosynthesizes. Maybe that's related to the oranges. Maybe they photosynthesize differently now. Why do you have that big shit-eating grin on your face?
Because Phobic's being phobic. He goes, these lads, top notch, top flight security of the world. I'm not really sure.
That's right. I think Phobic's just impressed that we can start off with such informative rhymes as the opening. I mean, you haven't even gotten into the podcast yet. We haven't even really gotten past introductions, and already we're blowing people's minds with top-notch facts. Can we talk about McDonald's having broccoli-flavored bubblegum or bubblegum-flavored broccoli, whatever the fuck it was? Either way.
There's no way it tasted good.
No, it was a ploy to like get kids to eat healthy. So I believe it was bubblegum flavored broccoli. The response from the children was that they were confused by the taste. Like they couldn't tell it was bubblegum because they were looking at broccoli.
That's understandable. That's like that. I mean, those cotton candy grapes. I've never had one, but I can't imagine.
I had one. They are everything everybody says they are.
Really?
Yeah, I saw a bag at the grocery store and I went to grab it and they were all like rotted out, but I was like, nah. So I just started digging through the bag to find a good one. I was like, here we go.
You're a piece of shit. You're like that guy that walks through the store and you know they have the big nut things where you can buy like your own nuts and weigh them out, you know, and they have like walnuts and shit in there. You're the guy that goes up and cracks them and starts eating them in the store. Like you don't have to pay for them, like they're just tasters.
I'm pretty sure that the expectation when you put that stuff out for public consumption is, especially with like grapes, let me try one of these. Let me see how I feel about it. And if I like it, then I'll buy the rest of the bag. If I don't, then somebody's down.
But you're the type of guy that would buy a different bag after you put your fucking dirty mitts inside a bag and took one out.
Yeah, that one's fucking missing one. Why would I want that one?
You're a fucking idiot.
I'm just being logical.
Oh, man. There's something else I was going to talk about through your intro. I forget what it was.
You want me to read back through it?
No, we're good. We're good.
Was it about German chocolate cake being invented in Texas? Because that was a real head scratcher.
Oh, yeah. Erica bought a bag of those. I didn't even get to have one of the grapes. And my son threw them away because they didn't taste right.
That's amazing.
These don't taste right, so I threw them away. The whole bag. Fucking asshole. Oh, the joys of having a kid. What are you gonna do? Anyway, Pat.
Never have them. I think that's a good solution.
What are we doing first? The memes, or are we doing the movie reviews?
I figure if we just follow in line with the timeline, we'll be fine.
I don't have the timeline pulled up, so that's why I'm asking.
Memes it is. You should
right.
pull up a meme with 2 NBA basketball players.
Jared I got
Adams.
that. I don't know. While we're talking about basketball, Pat, I think it's important to know on the show that I've officially retired from sports gambling.
Have you?
I have not gambled in 2 days. I've been going to some meetings.
Itches.
I've been going to some meetings.
I've been obsessively masturbating.
So real quick before we get into all this, I last weekend, man, I had a banger of a weekend. Remember I was on that run? I was on a fucking run, man. Me and Monox fucking crushing it, having a good weekend. I ended up on Tuesday. I was up from Thursday to Tuesday. I was up $1,400. Right, I was crushing it. Then I went into the casino app on the FanDuel app, and I pissed away like $600. I was a little irritated, so I said, "I know how I'm going to win this money back. I'm going to make 3 parlays. I'm going to make 2 for $300 and 1 for $400. The 1 for $400, I'm going to combine the 2 that I do for $300. So if it hits, I win big. But either one of these will cover me and get me back to where I need to be." All 3 of them missed, Pat. All 3 parlays missed. And I when I do those big parlays, I look at things that are like, I think I've explained this, that they're like minus 500, minus 1,000, which means you have to put up $100 or you have to put up $1,000 to win 100. Like the odds of it hitting are pretty good. Like that's what I'm looking at. And didn't work out in my favor. I think I ended the parlay at like plus 200 were the 2 $300 ones, and then the 400 was like plus 300. So for every $100 I laid, I won $300. Not good at all. So that brought me down to 200, which was my starting point. So I was like, it hurt, but I was even again, and I was like, I could play some more bets. Wednesday I lost all my bets. Thursday I lost. Thursday I put in another $200 and lost all those bets. So I have not bet since Thursday night. Friday, Saturday, no bets.
Okay.
I'm thinking I might get into.
Well, I will say, I did not bet. Tony and I went to the ACC tournament on Thursday. There were 4 games, of which I would have picked 1 correctly, and I would have fucked myself. So I'm glad that I deleted the app a long time ago, because that would have been a bad one.
Phobic is in tears over there. Phobic is in tears because I was just talking to him on either Monday or Tuesday, bragging to him how much I was up. And I haven't really talked to him since. So there you go, Phobic. Maybe I do have a problem. Maybe I do. But
did you delete the app?
Fuck no.
So you have not retired?
Nah. I might get back into it today. We'll see.
Oh, God.
I had to take a little break.
What is your overall now, money-wise?
My overall, so you figure that puts me at, I'm up 1,500. I'm up 1,500 on the Sugar House app, which I have not used since I hit the NFC Championship games, the AFC and the NFC Championship games. Yeah. So that's plus 1,500. This one is, that hurts to look at. I'm down 821 in this one. So I'm still positive, like $600, a little over 600.
It's not terrible.
No, especially when you look at like I've wagered $59,765, and I've won $58,943. So,
if I may, Tony limits himself to $5 bets, so he'll make as many bets as he wants. But he started with like I want to say $50. And he's somewhere around 275, and he only makes $5 bets. He still does parlays and stuff like that, but he caps himself at $5 per bet.
All right, so I make substantially. So I cap myself at like 100. I got you.
I think that's the problem.
It's definitely, you know what the problem is, dude? So, and I went into Tuesday thinking I'm gonna find something that I really think is gonna hit, and I'm gonna put it all on there and see if it hits. I went into Tuesday thinking that, and I think like I got greedy. You know what I mean? I think that's the problem.
Well,
Instead of just
that
laying
is
it
the
low.
sickness right there. That is how addicts become addicts. Is that chase that I only have to hit big once.
Well, I've hit big more than once. I've hit big a few times.
It doesn't help.
No, it doesn't help. I love it. I love it. But anyway, so I don't know if there's any. I know there's college basketball today. Is there college basketball today? Because they're coming out with a bracket tonight. So what? All the games will be over by like noontime or something like that.
The NIT will start very shortly, but the ACC tournament ended yesterday. I don't know about the rest of them.
Oh no, there's games today. We got Richmond and Davidson, Texas A&M and Tennessee, Memphis and Houston, Iowa and Purdue, Hammer Iowa. Those are the only 4 games today.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with Tennessee minus 6.5. I like it. I think we'll take Iowa.
We're standing ready to go watch North Carolina play on Thursday, and it's myself and Tony. Miss Elizabeth is in the potty, and we're standing there with our UNC.
Hold on. I wanted to ask you about this. Your brother Michael flew up to New York to go to the game with you guys?
No, my cousin Patrick did. My cousin Patrick lives in New York. He just took a train over.
So that picture that you posted while you were there with Michael in it was an old picture.
With Michael, me, Steve, and Tony. That's Steve and Martinelli.
Sure.
That's from a Yard Goats game in the middle of the summer.
Oh, I was like, this fucking guy, dude. I didn't know Michael flew all the way out there. That's cool.
It's because I'm bad at Facebook. I didn't post that picture. I said it, like on Facebook, you get like a main picture and then like a background picture.
Yeah.
I made that my background picture, and it posts a picture when you do that. I didn't fucking know. So everybody else was commented on me and Elizabeth being at the tournament, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, how do they know that?" Like, all I did was put a picture up, but then I realized it was in my timeline as well.
Well, Liz was also posting pictures of you guys at the tournament.
Yeah, but I doubt she was like, "Here we are at the Barclays." She probably was just putting pictures up.
Yes, you guys were wearing UNC shit, like at things that like prove that you're at the game.
I guess that's a valid point. Anyways, Tony and I are standing outside the bathroom now. There's really nobody there. It's the very beginning of the second session so there's 4 games, but it's like the first 2 are one session, and then you get kicked out of the arena. Everybody leaves, they clean it up, and then they let you back in for the second session. 2 separate sets of tickets and everything. So we're standing there, and this guy walks over. I swear to God, this dude's in a fucking Miami Hurricanes like winter coat, which is fine, it's winter, and a pair of blue jeans, and he's got 2 knee braces on outside his blue jeans. And I don't mean like Stone Cold Steve Austin knee braces. I mean like the compression sleeves. Nice. He's pulled them up on top of his jeans. So already I'm ready to make fun of the guy. And he walks over, looks Tony dead in the eyes, and he's like, "Good job putting Coach K away in that last game of the regular season. Proud of you guys." And he just walks away, and I look at Tony and I'm like, does he think you fucking play? Like, what? First off, why did he not congratulate both of us? He specifically congratulated Tony.
Well, you're clearly not playing on the team.
Yeah, so Tony turns to me and he's like, maybe he thinks you're like the water boy. I was like, what the fuck, man? The guy legitimately congratulated him for like a job well done. And it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
I love it. New York, baby. New York. All right. Let's get into these memes. What's this first one about, Pat?
Tom, this is Larry Nance Jr. on his most recent house exchange with Josh Hart. He's talking to Josh Hart. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. So there was a Larry Nance Jr. and Josh Hart traded houses. So he says, I own a house in Portland. He owns a house in New Orleans. So we just swapped. So these guys were part of a bigger trade that revolved around CJ McCollum. But yeah, they were just like, hey man, I'm going to your team, you're coming to my team. Let's make this easy. And they just swapped mansions. And I think that's the coolest shit in the world.
You assume that they own mansions. These guys probably don't own mansions.
You assume that they own studio apartments?
No, I assume that they own modest houses, like decent sized houses, but not mansions. These guys, first off, I've never heard of either of these guys, which doesn't mean that they're not making a ton of money. But on the lower end of basketball, you're probably only making $1 million, $2 million a year. They probably don't own mansions. They probably own houses that are bigger than yours or mine, but it's probably only like a $500,000-$600,000 house. I would have to guess, depending on the market.
Right. Still, they fucking traded. I think that's the coolest shit, because how often do you really hear about anything like that?
I agree. I think that's pretty funny.
The next one, Jarrett Adams, falsely imprisoned for 10 years. He used the prison library to study law and have his own conviction overturned. He went on to become a lawyer and is now helping overturn other wrongful convictions. I just thought that was pretty cool. Good use of the system.
That's awesome. You know, a lot of guys that have the initiative, right? I want to say initiative. To instead of like, so he's not like, whoa, poor me, somebody needs to help me. He's like, all right, they convicted me wrongly. I'm gonna go get myself out of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, you're not talking about like an incredible feat from an individual. You're talking about one of the most incredible things possible, because this guy's in, I mean, obviously, worst case scenario, being in prison, right?
Yeah.
Other than being dead, being in prison's right up there. So you're surrounded by negativity, you're surrounded by negative people, and then you try to make something of yourself. Can you imagine the feedback he got from the other inmates, even his friends, talking about like, you'll never fucking make this happen. The system doesn't care. You're a fucking idiot. And this dude did it. I think it's fucking crazy.
Good for him.
Yeah. This is a picture of Mickey Mouse double fisting his own eyeballs, and they're pouring blood. And it says, when you click on a not safe for work link expecting titties, but it's a guy stapling his dick to his ass.
Pat, how many times have you gotten those skull and crossbones at work?
That fucking big black dude sitting on the bed with his dick hanging out, now he's sitting everywhere. Like he's sitting at a pool, he's sitting on a chair, he's sitting everywhere. I've seen that guy's dick more times than he has.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You have to know what I'm talking about.
No, Pat. We have specific training on this stuff. I don't hit links in my emails that would.
Oh no, that's not. I'm not getting those at work. I'm just saying, everybody fucking sends me that big. Huh?
I don't get those at home.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely get them at home pretty frequently, actually. Big black dicks.
I guess if that's what you're looking for, that's what you find.
Alrighty. Yeah, I don't know why they keep popping up on my Facebook. Anyways, this one is Shania Twain holding a chainsaw outside of the legendary house where the Texas Massacre took place, and it says, the Shania Twain Saw Massacre, which you didn't think was funny at all. I thought was fucking hilarious. There's a comment under it that we can't see, but the guy just said, that don't impress me much.
I like that. That's funny.
Funny as shit. This is a guy who has taken the passenger front wheel off of his car and rolled it about 5 feet over to the air pump. And it says, I'm no car guy, but there's got to be a better way to do this.
Oh my God. You know who that?
I would love to fucking see this in real life.
You know who that is?
Who?
It's fucking Griff. Oh, shit. Good old Six Slugs right there. Ooh. Holy fuck. There's no fucking way. Maybe. All right, listen. Let's give this guy a benefit of the doubt, right?
I think what happened is that he's actually putting a full-size spare on, but he's making sure the pressure in the full-size spare is right.
That's what I think is happening as well. Jesus, I'm fucking dead. That was funny.
Next one is it's a tweet that says, my brother's ex has been stealing our Netflix for the past 2 months now by disguising her account as settings. And honestly, I ain't even mad. I'm just really disappointed in myself for actually believing that an account named settings would legitimately be Netflix settings. And fucking Netflix goes on and just tweets respect.
That's awesome.
The next one, this says, I sexually identify as a microwave dinner because I am ready in 5 minutes. I look nothing like my photos, and I'm just satisfying enough for you to want me again when you're desperate.
Nice.
Story of my life.
This one's hilarious.
Tom, you sent this in. This is a Tom Washington contribution.
You know who sent this in? You know who really sent this in?
I'm gonna say Griff.
Nah, Rick Washington sent this in.
Okay. It says $15 per hour. Guy goes into a bar. There's a robot bartender. Since the minimum wage was increased to 50, can I tell you when I started reading this, like when I got this far, I was like, oh, this is going to be a really insightful thing about the new $15 minimum wage, and maybe it'll shape my opinion a little better. That is not what this is, guys. Just so everybody's clear, this is a fucking joke. It is not. This is not a real story. Guy goes into a bar. There's a robot bartender. Since the minimum wage was increased to $15 an hour, the owner had to replace his regular human bartender. The robot says, what do you have? Guy says, martini. The robot brings back the best martini ever and says to the man, what's your IQ? The guy says, 168. The robot then proceeds to talk about physics, space exploration, and medical technology. The guy leaves, but he's so curious. So he goes back into the bar. The robot bartender says, what do you have? And the guy says, martini. The robot again makes a great martini and gives it to the man and says, what's your IQ? The guy says, 100. The robot then starts to talk about NASCAR, Budweiser, and John Deere tractors. The guy leaves,
so fucked up,
but finds it very interesting. So he thinks he will try one more time. He goes back into the bar. The robot says, what do you have? The guy says, a martini. The robot brings the guy another great martini. The robot says, what's your IQ? And the guy says, about 50. And the robot leans in real close and says, so you people still happy you voted for Biden? Pretty solid. It's pretty fucking solid.
Classic Biden joke. I think it was fucked up that people with IQ of 100, they automatically assume are NASCAR fans and John Deere tractors, like they're hillbillies or something.
I think that's the implication.
That's pretty fucked up. All right, Pat. Let's take a break here to hear from Anchor.fm, and then we'll do movie reviews. Good talk.
I don't even know how you get your IQ tested. I want my IQ tested.
I don't.
I can tell you, I hope it's 69.
All right, Pat. So we got you have something, but it's not really a movie review. So we'll do yours first, and then we'll do my 3 movie reviews.
Okay. Tom, before I get into my review, let me give you a little backstory. I've been playing wrestling video games since Nintendo. We're talking the 80s. After that came Super Nintendo and Sega, PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2, Xbox, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. I've played them all. I love them all. I'm working on owning them all. I even want to get an arcade game. A specific one that I have in mind.
You don't love them all. You're a fucking liar.
Why don't I love them all?
There's one in particular I know you don't like. It was the last one. Not this most recent one. The one before that. You fucking hate it.
Well, no, I still need it for the collection. So I'll just.
I understand.
I never returned it.
But you don't love it.
It was about that. 2 years ago, a company that's been involved in making wrestling video games for a very long time called Jakks Pacific bailed on EA Sports. There was a disagreement between the two companies, and Jakks Pacific basically phoned in the video game. They didn't make a lot of effort, and what happened was they made the shittiest wrestling video game to date, and I'm going back to Nintendo. The graphics on Nintendo were probably better. The gameplay was certainly smoother. So bad that PlayStation Online, if you bought the game online, said, we'll give you your money back. Just ask. Just tell us you don't want to play the game. We'll give you your money back. Refund automatic. No need to give us a reason. It was fucking bad. So, Jakks Pacific is now actually working to develop the AEW video game, but that's, a fish of another color. AE can't fix the problems with that game. The game now for 2 years has been full of bugs like a southern fucking night.
You mean EA?
So, what's that?
You mean EA?
What'd I say?
AE.
Oh, EA, yeah.
Just one.
Yeah, so last year, no wrestling video game for the first time I can ever remember. Every year, right around October, we get the new wrestling game. That's how it works. It's, it actually comes, they start announcing it in October. It comes out mid-November. And that's like, for Christmas season, that's what I wanted as a kid. I want the new wrestling game every year on Christmas morning. Got the game. That's all I wanted. That's, for the most part, all I got, other than some socks and underwear. Last year, no game. And they kept saying, later, and then it was, you're waiting until 2022. So I go to pre-buy the game in October, no game. And this is 2021 now. We're only like 6 months ago. And they say it's coming, but we don't know when. So then they say it's going to be out by Christmas, but you can't pre-buy it. So I keep trying to pre-buy it, can't get it. I finally am able to pre-buy a game that is set to be released in February, and then it changes and it's coming out in March. Anyways, Friday, the new wrestling game comes out. I totally forgot. Completely forgot. Yesterday morning, I walked downstairs to play a little Far Cry 6. And I just I was walking down the stairs and I was like, fuck. I'm pretty sure wrestling came out yesterday. I could have downloaded it overnight. So I walk downstairs. I check. Bammo. Wrestling came out. So I start the download and you can use 6 characters and you can do a one-on-one match. And I do the little test run just to see, is this, did I overpay yet again? And Tom, this game looks like a goddamn Hollywood movie. It is so sick that it's smooth. The controls are better. It's fucked because I've had to hit the same buttons for 20 years playing video games, and now it's all different. But I'm getting used to it already. It's fucking incredible. The modes, the options that you have are fucking incredible. The number of characters, fucking incredible. Everything about the game's awesome. So if you are a fan of wrestling video games, go get the game. It's safe again. It is safe to play the game again.
Pat, let me ask you
WWE
this.
2K22.
Pat, your big thing is I want to have the hard copy, and you bought it digitally?
I have to buy it digitally because my PlayStation doesn't play hard copies.
Man, it's too bad you don't know somebody that had an extra PlayStation and just could have given it to you.
Well, Tom, when you deal with nothing but scum, you get nothing but scummy results. You have a fucking... You told me that you traded your PlayStation in, you piece of shit.
I did.
So how would I know somebody that has one?
Well, I had one. I could have given it to you.
You can see how that's not helpful now.
You know who probably has one? They might still have it. Is the GameStop?
Number 3?
No, the GameStop in Torrington.
If you think that I'm going to let GameStop give you $50 for your PlayStation, then I'm going to go give them $200. You're out of your fucking gourd.
They did not give me $50. I assure you of that.
What'd they give you?
I want to say it was $175.
You traded in the middle of the pandemic, right?
No, I traded in. It was like 2 months ago.
Oh. Did they have other used systems available? That's the problem. Is
No,
for a while there you couldn't get a used PlayStation. So I just started using digital copies.
They're selling as soon as they fucking get them in on trade. They gotta wait like 7 days before they can actually sell it. And they said, dude, as soon as I put these out, they sell. Because nobody can find them.
That.
So anyway, let's get into these movie reviews, huh?
Let's do it.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go get my other iced coffee.
Bro, how far are you in Far Cry 6? I feel like Tom missed me ask that. Phobic, you play Far Cry 6? I don't know why I ask. I can barely see the chat. Oh, I can see it. We're good.
Were you asking me about Far Cry 6?
Motherfucker, you heard me and ignored me? That's fucked up. Phobic ignored me too.
I don't think Phobic plays Far Cry.
Oh. In my defense, my question was, Phobic, do you play Far Cry?
Oh. I thought you asked me how far I'm into Far Cry.
No. Have you... I know. Yeah. I asked that. How much have you played it?
I downloaded it. I played it one time for like a couple hours. I haven't touched it since. I don't have a reason why I haven't gone back to it because I was enjoying it. I thought it was pretty cool.
I didn't like it at first. I think because the last few have been so good, and so you get really enamored by the storyline, right? And this is a different storyline, so I was like, but no, it's dude, it grows on you. It's fucking great.
Well, and I think the gameplay is a lot better. Like the last one that came out was the Twins one that we did. That one was almost like too cartoony for me.
Yeah.
I mean, like I enjoyed the storyline and everything, it was fine, but it was like cartoony, like the graphics and stuff. This one's a little bit more real life, a little bit more realistic.
This one's the storyline is like, dude, it's crazy the number of people that die, and it's like you're watching a movie when you're doing the storyline. So like there's a lot of like turning on each other and stuff, and you're like, what the fuck? Like I really like that character. Damn it.
Yeah, it's good. All right, so let's get these movie reviews. Oh, I was going to tell you this. So yesterday I'm upstairs, right? I go out to Dunkin' every morning on Saturday and Sunday and get Eric and I coffee. And I'm at home. We were watching one of these movies I'm going to review. And I was done with it. I said, man, I should have really stopped and got a Monster. I just opened my fridge down here. Totally forgot I had a Monster in there.
Nice.
Motherfucker. Anyway.
Now if you could just open your pants and find a Monster.
All right, that's on the podcast.
Small dick joke.
Yeah, I'm going to delete that. Yep, okay. All right, Pat. So I watched 3 movies yesterday. They were all either 2011 or older, so they are a little bit old. One of them I had never heard of. 2 of them I've seen before, but Erica had it, so we watched them. So the first one neither of us saw. It was called Warrior. Have you ever seen that?
Is it a ultimate like a cage fighting movie?
Yes.
No, I've never seen it. I'm kidding, obviously. If I knew what it was, I've seen it.
So it's a little confusing at first. You're not really sure what's going on in the beginning. I could have swore so in the beginning you meet the father of this guy, and the son's obviously pissed off at him about something for being a drunk when he was younger, and him and his mom left. And he's inside his house, and I could have swore when he looked at one of the pictures, he saw some dude's daughter, like his sister. I thought it was his sister, not his brother. And he said, "Oh, she has 2," but he must have said he because it ends up being his brother in the movie. So and it's so the main character there, the first one, goes into a fight club, beats the shit out of some dude that was the number 1 contender for the middleweight championship, and then it pans to his brother, and it's going back and forth through the whole movie. And eventually you find out that they're brothers. And what it is UFC. It was Tap Out. It wasn't even UFC at that point. It was UFC fighting, but Tap Out, the brand, was putting on a tournament that paid out $5 million. And you come to find out that the first character, Tommy, is trying to win. He was in the Marines, and his best friend was killed. So he's trying to win the money to give it to his wife and to support his family. And then the brother ends up entering because he's losing his house because they had a refinance to do all this stuff because one of their daughters had a heart problem, needed a heart transplant. If you paid attention, you knew what was going on the whole time. You know what, Erica? Shut the fuck up. How's that sound? Thank you. That's the name of the show. Erica, shut the fuck up. So I'm sorry that my IQ isn't as high as yours.
Well, late for that apology, but go ahead.
So they end up fighting each other in the final match. I'm not going to tell you who wins, but it was pretty good.
I bet she was one of the brothers.
Yeah, they fight each other in the last match. That's what I said.
Yeah, so when you said I'm not going to tell you who wins, I said I bet it's one of the brothers.
You're a piece of shit.
A correct piece of shit.
What I'm upset about is you don't know what they end up doing, like if they split the money at the end or like it just ends, which kind of sucks.
What did you think of the movie overall?
I thought it was a good movie. I'd watch it again. It has a good
Okay.
storyline. It gets you captured emotionally, especially if you have brothers or anything like that, or like family members that you might fight with every once in a while. And I thought it was good. I thought it was a good movie.
It's funny. It's funny that your opener to your movie reviews was Erica said Tom called the movie differently though. Oh, he probably complained through the whole thing if I could guess.
I did not complain once.
What you call it? When you said you were doing movie reviews, I was like, oh, I'll do one. And I was like, nah, because Liz and I watched an old movie. It's a movie that she's never seen before, but she wanted to see. She wants to watch all the gangster movies.
Nice.
So we started with Casino. And then yesterday we watched A Bronx Tale, and I was like, he's not going to want me to review a bunch of old movies. And then you were like, so the newest movie we have is from 2011. I was like, what the fuck?
Apparently, I thought the teacher brother was going to die.
He gonna die.
He did. Maybe I could have said that. I don't remember. I'm sorry that I put out a prediction of the movie and was wrong, Erica. I'm sorry that that means it was a good movie. That means I couldn't tell what was going to happen next.
Valid.
Anyway, back to what I was saying before. I was really I'm going to silence Erica here in a minute. So then we watched Erica's never seen Braveheart, which is surprising because she's 4,000 years old. Yeah, she's been alive through all these movies. I don't understand. Like when Braveheart came out, I was 8 years old. Well, how come you have not seen Braveheart? But either way,
that's not what I thought you meant when you said Erica's been alive through all these movies. I thought you meant what the movie was about.
That's fucked up, Pat. I did say that she was 4,000 years old. So,
whatchamacallit? For somebody who watches all those Hallmark movies, which are really just love stories, Braveheart at its very roots is just one of the greatest love stories ever told.
It really is. But what an amazing, like, it's been a long time since I've seen it, obviously. What an amazing movie. It really is.
There are so many lines from that movie that will get you fucking fired up.
It's really sad at the end, though, when they kill him. That really...
You're a fucking horrid piece of shit.
How am I how is that a spoiler? The movie's 30 fucking years old.
You know for a fact that there are people who haven't seen it. You just broke one of them in yesterday.
If you haven't seen it, you're a stupid idiot. Problem solved.
How about, I think my favorite line, there's a couple, but when he does I'm going to go pick a fight, I fucking love that line.
Yeah, when he goes up
and ride his horse towards thousands of people.
Yeah, and gets him going. But again, the fucking backstabbing, man, really gets you going. You know what I mean? Really upsets me.
You can see it from a mile away. Yeah, you know it's coming. They don't. Brutal. The fucking Irishman makes that movie.
Yeah, when he goes, "It's my country," and then he fucking gets them all to turn on the English. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. So another great movie we watched. Again, I'd give that movie a fucking. It's up there, man. Like a 8.3 or something like that. Like it's up there. It's a great movie. It's a long watch, but it's a great movie. And then
wait, they break it up because you get to see titties.
Yeah, dude, that girl's fucking smoking. There's a little wife there. Smoke show. And then Pat, if she hadn't seen Braveheart, what's another Mel Gibson classic that you think that she hasn't seen?
A Mel Gibson classic that she hasn't seen. Well, let's assume she's seen What Women Want.
No, Mel Gibson, a classic. Like we're not talking about a chick flick.
Are you gonna say Lethal Weapon?
No, fucking classic though. I love all the Lethal Weapons. There isn't a bad one. Fucking great movies. It's another war movie. It's another war movie.
We Were Soldiers?
No.
Why can't dude? I can't think of a Mel Gibson movie. I swear to God.
The Patriot.
Yeah. You want to hit you with a fact about The Patriot? A weird one?
Go with it, man.
So The Patriot, obviously about an American colonist. When they were looking for the right person to make The Patriot about, because that movie is supposed to be based on a true story, they looked through anybody that they could find evidence on and couldn't find a decent human being among them, so they made up a character. That's a true story. They couldn't find a decent early American patriot by today's standards, so they just made a guy up.
What do you mean by today's standards? The movie was made in fucking 2000.
Okay, well, that's 20 years ago. We're talking about early America. And they're just like, no, they own slaves. They beat and rape women. Like, they're all fucking bad guys. So we're going to have to fictionalize a character for this movie.
See, that's crazy. The fact that you fucking said that to me just made me mad.
I'm glad I could deliver this, interesting fact.
Do you want to know why it makes me mad, Pat? Can you guess why it makes me mad?
Because it was a different world?
Yes, it was a different world. It was a different time. That was the standard back then. For us to look back in history and say they were bad people, we're fucking stupid to say that. To our standards today,
I think of that more than a normal human could. And I think, do I have it in me to just like arbitrarily beat up a person because they're black? I can't see, like, I get that I'm raised in a different time. Can't see it. Do I think that I could just rape a woman because I feel horny? I just don't think I could. Like, I get it, man. I get that it was a different time. I can't put myself in a place and go, no, I can relate. It was just the time. That's just how they were. Nah, man. That's fucked up.
I'm with you in the fact that I cannot relate to it. But what I can say is that was the standard. You know what I mean? Our standard today is completely different. So for us to look back and say they were pieces of shit, they weren't. They were.
Well, yeah, and I mean by that same logic, I also would never, like, in a voting situation as a juror, I would never vote to tar and feather somebody. You know what I mean?
You think it was a norm back then, and not to be a decent human, Erica? Again, it was their normal. It was their normal. Whether or not it was being a decent human to our standards today, no, I don't think that made them decent people. But what I'm saying is we can't judge them for doing something that was 100% acceptable in their time. How can we judge that? If murder was legal today, people would murder people and they could still be good people.
Well, I'll give you an example. And it's a bit of it's not even a stretch, I don't think. Maybe you'll say it's a stretch, I don't know. But for example, if we as a world, if everybody in the world decided we're not eating beef anymore, okay, legit, no more beef, that would shut down the mass breedings of cattle so much that global warming would come to an end instantly. The problem would be resolved because of the amount of carbon monoxide or carbon gases that cows let out. So if we stopped eating beef, and one day this will happen, one day we will be a beef-free society, and when that happens, 200 years later, will they go, I can't believe with the world burning in front of them, they just kept fucking eating beef. Why not stop? Because that's just the way it is, man. I love burgers, but I don't today think that makes us bad people. I could see how, 200 years from now, they go, I can't fucking believe that they thought that was okay. And I get that it's not rape and it's not torturing fucking people, but we are breeding cows for the means of slaughter to eat. So I could see how, like, we could end up in this same situation with that specific scenario.
No matter where you are throughout history, you will end up in this situation. Because hundreds of years from now, or 50 years from now, it will be something that we do today will not be acceptable 50 years from now. It just won't. And to
Eric has a pretty fucking good point.
No, I understand. And Braveheart was discussing it. They put the law in place about the Lord sleeping with the bride on her wedding day. That took place way before the American Revolution. The men thought it was wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you. But was that a true fact? I have fucking no idea.
Oh yeah, no. The English, in their efforts to conquer or colonize all of Europe, that was what they called it, breeding out. They were breeding out the other groups of people by injecting English bloodline. So the English lords would fuck. They were trying to impregnate women so that they would have English babies and there would be less of whatever ethnicity the baby should have been. That was absolutely true.
So that's more of a Hitler type thing. Instead of persecuting him, they were just trying to change the ethnicity. Perfect. Erica said
she said I sent in an email about this exact thing.
hold on. But Erica, answer this. Like, realistically, you think that we should look at all these people throughout our history as horrible people? Like, because people owned slaves, that made them horrible. In their time, it was acceptable. In the movie The Patriot, the black people that worked for the main character weren't slaves; they were free. He paid them. But Pat just said that he was a made-up character because that wasn't a normal thing. And actually, your mic's muted. Actually, one of the storylines in that movie is how one of the white guys was degrading the black guy. The black guy saves his life, and then near the end of the movie, the white guy looks at him and says, "I'm honored to be fighting next to you." While the Crown was trying to push the Scots out and making law. We're talking about two different things. Can we talk about the same thing? I just can't believe that we're going to sit here and say that anybody that came before us are horrible people. That is fucking mind-blowing to me that we wouldn't be where we are today without those people. No matter what they did. What we're talking about
is a king who's trying to breed out cultures, Tom.
That's not what we're talking about. This has turned into something totally fucking different.
This is what you get for showing someone who's never seen Braveheart for the first time. You have to know the impact that this has on an individual. The movie's fucking incredible. So she's looking up fucking articles and sending them into the podcast. The movie, the story, the fucking acting, everything about it is fucking brilliant.
Guess what? Braveheart review over. We're on to The Patriot, and Pat said they had to make up a character because there was no decent people back then, which is fucking bullshit. George Washington was alive, great person, was the first president of these United States. Get it together, people. Get it together. John Adams, great person. Like, all these people throughout history, if you're going to sit here and say that they're horrible people, get the fuck out. See you later. Just because a guy owned a fucking slave when it was acceptable to own a slave does not make him a bad person. Just because a guy beat a woman when it was acceptable to beat women doesn't necessarily make him a bad person. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't do it today, but it doesn't make him a bad person. Erica, there's not that long of a lag that we've been on The Patriot for 10 fucking minutes.
This may be my favorite podcast episode ever.
10 minutes. We're talking about The Patriot. There's a lag, honey. I can't contribute in real time. Get it together. You can hear me screaming downstairs.
Can't breathe.
I never said they were horrible people, but was it ever really acceptable? Yes! Yes, it was! It was acceptable at one point in our culture to own slaves, beat women, and rape them. It was 100% acceptable. They weren't viewed as horrible people. They didn't get hung. They didn't go to prison. It was acceptable. Am I wrong in that statement, Pat? Am I wrong in that statement?
What?
Am I wrong in that statement?
I don't, honestly, I don't know if it was done behind closed doors. I don't know if it was done publicly. I don't know if it was done as an example. I assume that at no point was it ever okay to rape somebody. I just have to assume, and I could be wrong, but I mean, what the fuck, man? Like, I can't see it. I assume rape was taking place in a way that, like, you knew it was happening, but you turned a blind eye because you knew it was wrong.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I truly don't either.
Do you want to know why we don't know?
Can I recommend a movie for you?
Do you want to know why we don't know, Pat?
Because we weren't alive back then?
Because we weren't fucking alive. So how can we judge these people that we weren't alive? We're going off. You know what? I really hate to say this, right? I really hate to say this, but this is one of my true beliefs when it comes to things like the Bible and stories throughout history. We're believing stories that were told by people, and we've all played the game telephone when we were kids. The problem is I tell a story to Pat, and then Pat tells it to Erica, and then Erica tells it to Griff. Griff tells it to his wife, to this person. By the time it gets to the last person, the story's completely different, and Tom was a fucking superhero and ripped the fucking house down like the Hulk. You know what I mean? That's how this story ends up when you tell 15 different people down the line. That's the problem. We don't fucking know. We weren't there. All we know is that we're free Americans because of people like the people in the Patriot. That's all I know.
I will say this. That if we just had women write history, we'd probably be better off. Because they ask so many questions when there's this, like I could be like, oh man, Tom was such a dick today. And Liz will ask 34 follow-up questions like, what was he a dick about? Is there something going on at home? Did it have to do with work? Was he, what color shirt was he wearing? And I'm like, well, I never even thought to ask that question. Like, I don't even know how that would be related to the fucking story. If we just let women write history, we'd probably have all the details we're missing.
Pat.
Yeah, bub. You
don't think women make shit up? You don't think women gossip and twist stories?
I'm sure that in very rare situations, a dishonest woman could make a story up. That's possible.
Very rare? I think it happens more than you think.
My God. Erica just called you fat.
I know. Now my wife is calling me fat in the stream.
She said, Jesus, relax. You're going to give yourself a heart attack. This is the Tom we've been waiting for.
I just don't get it.
If you ever wonder what it's like to hang out with Tom for a day, you're getting a real fucking dose of it right now.
Colin's on the
cleavage.
It's Colin. He says, I can hear you screaming so loud. I got on the podcast for the first time in a year. That's my son. Good. Colin, listen to what I'm saying. The people throughout listen, man. It doesn't matter who tells the stories. It doesn't matter. Because when you play, and especially, I'm not going to say especially when, people in general, mistell stories. What if they misheard the story? You think they were writing with their little feathering fucking pens, everything down? You couldn't even read it. It was in fucking cursive.
It was a quill.
Yeah, whatever. But how easy is it to misread cursive? You know what I mean? So, all I'm saying is, we make assumptions based off the stories that we know today, and we take them as hard, literal facts. But we really don't know. We weren't fucking there. We can only take it for what it's written down for. But to turn around and say that there was no good person alive back then, so they had to make up a character. And trust me, I love the character that they came up with. He's fantastic. I appreciate the character. What I'm saying is there was plenty of good Americans back.
Colin just roasted you on accident.
Did they not teach you cursive when you were a kid? Yeah, they fucking taught me cursive, asshole. You don't know how to read cursive either. Shut up. And I know how to read it. You don't. Little fucking shit. Get off my podcast. Anyway.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Colin, stop on by anytime.
Listen.
Ask questions. Ask your dad questions about when he was a kid. Anytime.
I just hate people. that look throughout history and look for problems that aren't socially acceptable today. Yes, we evolved. That's what happens. We evolve.
I don't know that it's necessarily people looking for problems. I think that a lot of it is some of us are content with what we read in our history books, and the people who are worried about history repeating itself have an obligation. They have a moral obligation to dig down deep and find out what really was going on, whether that's good people, bad people, indifferent. But it's not just, we shouldn't kill Jews because Hitler did it and it was bad. No. Why? Why did Hitler think it was okay? Why do we need to investigate this? How can we prevent genocide from happening again? And I think that's what, in a similar aspect, these guys were probably just looking for a character to make a movie based on because they wanted to make a true story, because there's a group of people, I'm one of them, who love true stories. If I'm watching a movie, I'm watching a true story before I watch anything else.
But do you want to know what really pisses me off?
They couldn't find one that they agreed with.
Do you want to know what really pisses me off about that? Do you want to know what really pisses me off about that? Is that every single one of those people, all those patriots that fought for our freedom, gave us, for them to say, we couldn't find a decent one among them. They were better people than you, motherfucker. You weren't out there fighting with swords and fucking one-shot muskets, you fucking piece of shit. It's easy to say that they weren't good people when you're standing behind your fucking pen and paper writing a script for a movie, you fucking queer. Are you serious?
Hold on. Wow.
I know, man. I got a little
homophobic rant. I don't know that they're saying they're not good people to me. Maybe they are perfectly fine with the type of person it is, but they're saying I have to produce a movie for the mass public. This is for the general population. Are they going to accept? Like, I don't have 10 hours to make this movie and explain why, even though this guy got a little rapey on Thursday nights, he's still a good guy.
But why
they don't have that
to,
kind of
They
time.
don't have to put that in the movie. The movie's about him capturing, him fighting and believing in himself and following his values and the freedom that we all enjoy today. That's the purpose of the movie. His backstory has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
People would dig into it and be like, "Oh, this guy wasn't even a good guy." They portray a typical Hollywood bullshit.
Do you want to know
where they
what's
try
up?
to make him look like a fucking hero.
Actually, if you watch the movie, right, he comes out and says that he wasn't a good person because he went in and he went up and murdered all those French people in the previous war, and that's why he was so famous in the colonies because of what he did in that French-British war. And so he wasn't a good person, but he fought for what
that scene from Braveheart.
It wasn't Braveheart. It was in The Patriot.
I know. I was trying to fuck with you.
Come on, man.
Erica said they had rules of engagement in war. In the movie, I believe that there were good people back then.
But what I'm saying, Erica, you're missing the whole rant. You're missing the whole fucking rant.
No, we totally understand what you're saying, Tom.
I don't think you guys do. And any
we totally
person that lives in this free America that we live in, where we're allowed to say whatever we want, however we want to say it, live on YouTube, live on Twitch, produce the freedom of speech that we're allowed to say today, and it's not tyranny, and they disagree with what I'm saying, you should go move to a place where you can't. Go move to South Korea or North Korea. Go.
If you guys are interested in spreading your message live on YouTube or live on Twitch, there's no better place to do it than anchor.fm. Am I right, Tom?
You can't. Anchor.fm doesn't stream to either of those platforms, but if you want to put out a podcast on Google Podcasts or anywhere like that, Apple Podcasts, pretty much any podcast, you go to Anchor.fm. Now, if you want to stream live on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, you go to Restream.io, and they'll get you there. Anyway, Pat, so that's my movie review. Great movies. I love American Patriot movies. I love movies about the revolution. And honestly, it's because...
Hold on. You said you had 3. We got Warrior and we got Braveheart. What's the third one?
Are you fucking kidding me, Pat? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yes.
Sorry, I got a little bit off the rails there, guys. Sorry.
Did you?
Sorry. Dude, it really bothers me when people that live in America are un-American. It really pisses me off.
America.
It really does, man. It really gets my...
America.
It really gets...
Yeah.
Do you want to know what... You know what, Pat? We were having a talk before the stream today about an individual and the opportunities that were given to him by someone we know.
Yes, and how he goes poo-poo on them.
And I equate these two problems to the same exact thing. And I know that this has nothing to do with the movie. Well, it does, because of what you said. This would have never went off the rails if you didn't just say that, Pat. If you didn't say... I didn't even review the movie. But because you had to tell me that fun little fact about the movie The Patriot, this is how we got here. But...
What you're saying is that fact added to the content of this show.
100%. What really irritates me is that these people that talk shit about the way we live in America, and yes, we are not fucking perfect. We have never been perfect. I believe that year by year, day by day, we make strives to improve the way that we were, and sometimes we take steps backwards, sometimes we take steps forwards, but we're always trying to improve. I believe that. I believe in Americans to do that. For people that live here and shit on the opportunities that we're allotted in this country, makes my fucking blood boil. It really does. And if you don't want to fucking be here, go live somewhere else. Go find a place that's better. And if you can't, shut your fucking mouth and keep living the dream. Because that's what you're doing. You're living the fucking dream. There's no place like this place on earth. There's other free countries, but they don't allow you the opportunities that we do. So shut the fuck up. Keep it moving. That's the end of my movie review. I don't want any more questions. No more questions. Press off. Moving on to the next segment of the show, Pat. 3-finger news.
Do you think we could come up with a scale? You know, like the hot crazy scale that we give to women? You know the scale I'm talking about?
What, on how pissed Tom gets?
No. On what you're provided in the place you live versus like the downsides of being in the place that you live, and find out, like, could we put the big name countries on that scale and show why you're feeling like America is the greatest country in the world? I think we could do this. I think it would be enlightening to everybody listening.
Hold on. I cut you off because I didn't think that this was going somewhere where I wanted to have it on the podcast. So I'm going to have you re-ask this question.
You're such a piece of shit.
I sure am. Pat, re-ask the question.
I'm sorry. Did they hear me call you a piece of shit? I want to make sure that's on the podcast.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Okay, good. So the question is in regard to the crazy scale.
Hold on. Let me explain why Pat called me a piece of shit. Pat went to go ask me a question when I said, we're done with the movie review. We're going to move on to the next segment, which is Three Finger News. Pat started to ask me a question. I stopped recording because I didn't think that I would want to answer the question on the show, and it was just going to piss me off. So I listened to the question because I'm a decent person, and I said, you know what, Pat? I cut you off. We're going to have to re-record that question. So, and then he said, and then I hit record, and he said, you're a piece of shit. So it worked out perfectly. I am a piece of shit. I agree. Go ahead, Pat.
Okay. Like the hot crazy scale, right? We judge women on this all the time. We say you deal with a certain amount of crazy when you're in turn delivered a certain amount of hot. In the same sense, I would like, it would take some research and some time, but I would like to create a scale that shows what you're provided by your country in terms of, you know, like, do they have good schooling? Do they have, do they have good laws? Do they have a good prison system? Do they have good health care? And make the other side of that scale, kind of the downside or the cost of being a part of that nation. And I'm curious where America falls on the hot crazy scale of nations. So and I think it would be enlightening. I think we would learn a lot.
So my question to you, Pat, is who, like you said, the big players in the original, like the big countries in the original question.
Yeah, we're talking. Let's go Russia, Germany, Canada, America, Japan, China.
Japan's a very small country.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we would have to do Japan. But you know, England, the countries that kind of we're always talking about.
Yeah.
You know, we could throw in some real barn burners too. Throw in like a weird, like an Iceland or a Greenland, and then throw in like just a country that we think is an absolute shithole, like Venezuela is in all kinds of financial trouble. Let's throw them in.
Well, they're also ruled by a dictator that's killing people for no reason.
Yeah, let's. Oh, Rick Washington wants us to throw Madagascar on.
The movie, or is that a country?
I think he means the country.
Is that a country?
It started once the Disney movie came out. They renamed their country to Madagascar because they liked the movie so much. I like the Mighty Ducks.
The only country that I could think of, there's probably two countries that are close in comparison to the United States that I would very easily move there instead of living here. I don't think I could have the type of passion I have for them because I wasn't raised there. But Switzerland is one of them, and Canada. Those are the only two other places that I could possibly go to that I could.
We'll make sure we put them on the scale.
Yeah, or no, I'm sorry, it's not Switzerland. It's Sweden. Sweden is.
We'll make sure we put that on the scale.
I think we should, man. Like you said, it will take some time, but I'm telling you, man, I gotta calm down. I am fucking. That got me really wound up. I'm sorry for saying the Q word there. I didn't. It wasn't meant to be derogatory in any way, shape, or form. It was just like one of those words when you're a kid, like when you say the F word but not fuck the other one, and you used to call your boys that, you know, or call them gay.
Yeah, the truth of the matter is we use certain words to describe a group of people that the words are not intended for. So if I say that's gay, I don't mean that is a homosexual. I mean, I, for whatever reason, one way, shape, or form, don't approve of that thing. Like, I don't know, a movie that's not good. Like, how was the movie? It's fucking gay. I didn't like it. I'm not saying like everybody in the movie was just there slobbing fucking knobs, just taking dicks in every direction. I'm just saying I didn't like the movie. And that's what you meant when you said queer.
Yeah, I don't really want to turn this on you, but some people would turn that and be like, "Oh, so you don't like gays because you thought the movie was gay and you didn't like it." So in return, like, you know what I mean? That's how people act,
No,
and that's what
that's
I'm
the
afraid
point I'm
of.
making, though. We use that term to our fault. I mean, it's not a good thing. I'm not saying everybody should just be accepting of it. I'm saying that we use certain terminology in a fashion that it was not intended to be used.
100%. So anyway, let's move on to
I
three finger
also say
news.
that girls have fat asses, and I mean it as a good thing. So
Yeah,
PHAT. You know what I mean?
Yeah, PHAT. Anyway, let's get into this dude. I'm so fucking. Oof. Whoa, man.
Rick Washington that just said this podcast is gay.
That's pretty fucked up.
Oh shit.
Hold on, let me see if I can mute him. I don't think I could mute him for some reason. Motherfucker. Reply to this message. No, you're gay. Okay. Anyway. So, all right, Pat, what do you got for three finger news? Let's bang this out, man. I'm at fucking 110 miles an hour right now.
The first thing you'll see is a picture of Jerry Jones. A 25-year-old woman is suing Jerry Jones, alleging that he paid her mother in 1996 to conceal that he was the girl's biological father, a secret that the lawsuit says she kept due to a confidentiality agreement. Spokespeople for Jones have declined to comment as of yet.
You know what I hope happens?
There's 30 more of them.
Nope.
That's how these things happen, man. Like the Cosby thing, they come out of nowhere.
I hope that that Jerry Jones turns around and sues her for breaking the confidentiality agreement.
There was probably some kind of statute on it because it's been 25 years. I wonder if that was like, hey, you can't say anything for 25 years.
And how can you sue them? You know what I mean? The mother agreed to something. The daughter, like, this is typical fucking America. You know what I mean?
You nailed it. This is somebody who you don't have the right to make that decision when you're a fucking fetus. So your parent does what they feel is best for you. I'm sure she got paid handsomely to keep it fucking quiet. And she used that money to raise you. Now you're upset about the way your mom raised you. So it's Jerry Jones's fault because your mom took a little D from the man, the myth, the legend, Jerry Jones. That's your mom's questionable sex habits.
Fucking typical America, man. Pisses me off.
Realistically, I assume that they had some kind of conversation where Jerry Jones said, I will pay for a shmortion. And the mom was like, absolutely not. And he was like, well, then you got to, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not going to be there for this kid other than financially. And I'm sure the mom went, you know what? Pay me now. I'll take care of it. I don't need you. It was a one-time thing. And I should have banged somebody else.
Rick Washington says, I hope she becomes the new owner of the Cowboys. He is indeed a Cowboys fan. Touche. He also commented to my reply to him and said, are you saying I'm queer? Nope. Just saying you're gay. Anyway. Next one, Pat.
Tom, while details are scarce on the extent of the contract, Ian Rappaport tweeted this morning that the four-time NFL MVP, Aaron Rodgers, will earn $200 million for 4 more seasons at Lambeau. Not only that, but $153 million of that money is guaranteed, making him the highest paid player in NFL history. Also, the only guy who, if he breaks his leg tomorrow, will get $153 million for it.
So this obviously didn't break yesterday. This broke earlier in the week. And Rodgers has come out and said that the amount of money is untrue. That the contract is not $200 million, that they have not signed a contract yet. But that's what they're reporting right now. So we'll see where that goes. I'm sure when he actually signs the contract, it'll break how much he's making. And I'm sure it'll be around $200 million.
Word. Let me preface this one by saying, sorry, Blue Justice, I'm going after your people.
Nice.
Cain Velasquez was denied bail. Judge Sheila Brown of the Santa Clara County, California Superior Court said the risk is too great to let Cain Velasquez out on bail due to the extreme recklessness of the retired fighter's actions. This will bring us back a week ago when we talked about Cain Velasquez discharging his firearm into another vehicle that had an alleged sex offender in it. He shot the wrong person 2 times. That person is stable and okay. This also brings us way back to the group of police officers who got into, and one of them drove a vehicle all extremely intoxicated with a hooker in it, and then killed a woman in a drunk driving accident. And that guy was offered bail and was brought to his home state and was surrounded by his family and friends, and they felt real bad for him, and they held him close and they took him in their arms. And Cain Velasquez doesn't have that opportunity, though he did not kill anybody with his behavior. I don't like that there seems to be a pretty clear double standard here.
Do you want to know what it probably is, Pat? And I don't want
If you tell me intent, I will shit all over you. Go ahead.
Nope. I wasn't going to say intent. I was going to say one involved a firearm, one did not. Not saying that one is more reckless than the other. But what state was that in too? Was that in California?
California.
Yeah. So you're discharging a firearm in California who already hates guns. Again, and that's
but they love letting people out of jail for no reason.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
California, if it's not a violent crime, there's no bond. You're let out.
Well, that's a violent crime. You shot a gun at somebody.
Well, yeah, just one a little bit violent, a little bit. Not crazy. I mean, he just took a couple shots at somebody.
Now, listen, I'm not this. Listen, I don't think this guy should be held. He should be a fucking hero.
Hold on. He shot the wrong guy. Heroes shoot the right guy.
He should be a hero for going after a child molester. I'm just saying. Anyway, what's this next picture, Pat? You know what, Pat? We looked at this. Somebody sent this in. Binoculars sent this in, right? This next picture?
Yeah.
Of the soccer players wearing bras. And it just occurred to me why they're wearing bras.
I have one guess, and since you seem to be confident in your answer, I'll give you my guess. But let's talk about the picture first. The picture is soccer players exchanging jerseys after a game, as we see all the time. I don't know what the weird trend with that is, but they trade jerseys after a game, maybe as a show of respect, or maybe just to build up your collection. In this, you see the 2 soccer players with each other's jersey in hand, and they are wearing sports bras. Apparently soccer players wear sports bras. By the way, we are not looking at women soccer players. We are looking at male soccer players who at best have no tits.
We assume that they identify as male. We assume that. We don't know that for sure.
Yes, that's valid. Tom, I'm going to say it's because they use their chest to hit the ball and they have sensitive nipples. All of them. Every soccer player in the world has very sensitive nipples. And when the ball hits their chest, it hurts. So they put on sports bras. Go ahead with the what you think might be a better answer.
I know for a fact that you are very close. It does involve their nipples, but that is not the reason. It's from them running. The jersey running up and down on their nipples will cause nipple chafing and lead to bleeding. It happens to runners a lot. That is why they are wearing the bras.
Could they not wear pasties like girls do when they don't wear a bra?
I don't know what pasties are. They could wear some sort of
like a Band-Aid that goes over your nipples so you can't see it through the shirt. So when a girl with no bra on is wearing pasties, you won't see her nipples through her shirt.
I assume they could. This is probably 1, more comfortable, but 2, it's guaranteed it's going to work. And like they could wear a t-shirt, right? Or like a wife beater, as we would call it, a white beater. They could wear something like that, but that would be more clothing and probably make them sweat more. So this is, I believe, an easier way to do it.
I think we're in complete agreement. We should get rid of pasties as a whole. Good point, Tom. Thank you.
All right. There we go. Genius. If Phobic was still watching, he'd be able to tell us that for sure because he actually plays soccer. And he watches a shit ton of soccer, and I would assume that he would know the answer to that. We'll see if he chimes back in. What's next one, Pat?
Tom, last week we had some mind-blowing facts, whether you say they were mind-blowing or not, about things comparative in time. This one, Tom, Betty White was 9 years old when Thomas Edison died.
Oh, wow.
She was 9. She was pretty old when Edison died. Tom, Pablo Picasso actually lived more recently than Jimi Hendrix. Picasso died in 73. Hendrix died in 70.
How old was Hendrix? I believe he was young.
He died young.
Yeah, okay.
Leonardo da Vinci was a year younger than Christopher Columbus. Well, I think when we think of painters, we think of very, very, very long time ago. Yeah, Da
What are you talking about?
Vinci,
You
not
just said
that old. He did
Picasso
have a
was alive
sick
in
fucking beard, though.
You just said Picasso was alive in 1973.
Yeah, that's another one. Like that's why they're in here, because when we think of painters, we think of them from fucking scores and scores of years ago.
Did you know there's still painters today, Pat?
What?
You know there's still people painting today, right? Like it's not dead.
That are as famous as Picasso and Da Vinci?
I'm sure. I'm sure maybe not to us, but to our kids, maybe they will be.
You think that Bob Ross is up there with Picasso?
Everybody knows who Bob Ross is.
That's a fucking fact.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And he's just doing watercolors. He sucks.
Tom, the last one I have for you, and it's a good one. The last one I have for you. I got kicked out of my timeline. I'm scrolling.
I believe it's the Wright brothers sitting next to each other.
You are incorrect. You are partially correct. Mark Twain lived long enough to take a color photo. He died in 1908. The color photo was taken in 1907. That is an actual color photo of Mark Twain.
Who's the guy next to him?
That's a black and white picture of Mark Twain.
Oh, so he must have died in 1910.
Oh, no, that's a good point. That's clearly a timeline. I don't know who those motherfuckers are.
I think it's the Wright brothers, bro.
Could be.
Maybe not.
Inconsequential to the fact either way.
All right.
Tom, we are very heavy on this show.
I know, it's been awesome.
Do we trudge forward or do we stop here?
We can stop here. I mean, you want to cover this gas thing? This Russia gas thing?
No, we'll talk about it next week. What we'll do is
what if the gas prices What if the gas prices go back down?
What?
What if the gas prices go back down? Then it doesn't matter.
You know what? When we read the article, you'll see why that's probably not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen.
We will talk about gas prices on Wednesday night's show, Thursday morning, if you're not listening live. We'll talk about the MLB lockout. We'll explain in about 5 to 10 minutes why the lockout is taking place and how it could be solved. We will talk, we'll hear from doctors who all ask their patients this question: how are you not dead? Tom, this article is fucking awesome. It's the craziest shit doctors have seen. It's really, really cool.
My doctor says that every time I go to see her.
Erica's email about breeding out culture that was brought up during Tom's completely relevant movie review of The Patriot.
Great movie. Great fucking movie.
And we will talk about gas prices. And lastly, we will go over some sentences that 20 years ago would have really left people scratching their heads that are perfectly common to say today.
All right, sounds good, Pat. So I just want to throw this out there. The next month or so, I would say the next 6 weeks, are going to be a little spotty with the shows, only because Pat's on vacation for a week of it, and then the following week I'm on vacation. I'm trying to, not this week, but the following week, go to our boy Griff's on vacation, and we're trying to go to Mohegan for some of the NCAA tournament to watch some of it. So we're probably going to do that in the middle of the week. I don't know what day yet.
We're not going to have an issue when I'm on vacation because I'll just do a show with my brother. I'm sure he'll be happy to be on.
All right. I mean,
we'll get a little update on Corona since Corona died when the Russian war started, and we'll get an update to see if that's true or not.
Sure. I guess nothing else I'd rather talk about.
Perfect.
Have you decided when you're going to go out there yet? Have you bought your plane ticket?
I do know when I'm going to go. I'll probably buy the plane tickets today.
It's a good idea. Keep waiting as the gas prices continue to soar, and
Well,
tickets will get cheaper.
Everything I read said that buying the tickets 3 to 30 days before your trip was the best time frame. But with gas prices rising, I feel like this may be a situation where that is completely untrue.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Eric and I, luckily, Eric and I booked a trip to Cabo for the week after you're on vacation, and we lucked out. It was right before the gas went up, so we actually got good prices on the flight. Yeah, so just keep that in mind if we're not on a Monday or a Thursday that it might come up. We'll try and give you guys some notice, but like we missed last Wednesday's show because some stuff came up. So, yeah. Other than that, and look and just keep your eyes out for that Lane 9.5 with Tommy, that the show that Griff and I are going to be doing. We haven't really.
Yeah. Tom, at the beginning of the show, retired from gambling, and at the end of the show is announcing his new gambling podcast.
Did I tell you the problem that we found with it?
That it's relevant only while it's happening?
Yeah, so the thing, because we bet on basketball games every day, we never look ahead to see what the lines are and stuff like that. They actually don't release the lines for games until, like, if a team has a game back-to-back days, they typically don't release the line until the first game is over. And then the same, like, Griff and I do a lot of player parlays where we're betting on players to get a certain amount of points or rebounds or assists or whatever. And those don't come out till like 2 or 3 hours before the game because they don't know who's going to be playing and stuff like that. So we've hit a little impasse where obviously we want to give you the best show possible, but we don't want to be blowing smoke. So the NCAA tournament, I think we're going to have our first show for that. And we're going to release a bracket, so that might come this week if Griff and I can find a time to sit down together and record it before the tournament actually starts. I know that they release the brackets tonight, Sunday. So I don't know if we'll find a time to do a show beforehand because I have no idea when the games actually start. It could be tomorrow.
Right.
But yeah, so we're just trying to figure, like, during football season will be real easy. They release the lines a week ahead and stuff like that. So we can do a show on, like I told him, Saturday.
Said, is he promoting his other podcast during this podcast, Pat? Yes, he is, Phobic. He retired from gambling at the beginning of this podcast. Now he's talking about his new gambling podcast that's coming up at the end of this podcast, yes.
Yes, 100%. Lane 9.5 with Tommy. It will be found anywhere you can download podcasts. And also produced by Anchor.fm, of course.
Great folks. Great folks at Anchor.fm.
He said, something doesn't add up. All right. Pat, get us out of here. Oh, Phobic, you missed the whole thing. Phobic. We had a picture that somebody sent in of soccer players wearing bras. Guy soccer players wearing bras. And Sports bras. And I said it's because they wear them to avoid the nipple chafe, said they don't get bloody nipples while they're playing. And I want you to confirm or deny that is why they do it.
Confusing is that because soccer is largely European, and the guy's coming off the field like, I'm a bloody nipples. And you're like, wait, no. Do you mean like just your nipples, or do you mean they're actually bleeding? Very confusing. Phobic says he doesn't know why they do it. I'm pretty sure that I'm right. It's because in order to be a soccer player, you also have to have very, very sensitive nipples, and you can't chest the ball without that added protection.
Pat, that is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Also, we're getting rid of pasties. Pasties are a thing of the past.
I've never heard of pasties, so didn't know it was a thing. Oh, well, Pat's wrong.
That's hurtful.
That's easy to determine. I believe my thing is probably the more accurate thing, because I have heard of sensitive nipple, like a lot of runners get it and stuff like that. So,
Tom, if the name of this podcast isn't Sensitive Nipples, I don't know what else it could be.
I was going to call it the Patriot because I went on a fucking rant. I'm still fucking wound up, dude. All right, we got
nipples were all sensitive about that whole thing.
If there were only a machine you could question to get the answers, I know, like Ask Jeeves.
Oh yeah, Like the little 25-cent machine where they tell your fortune. Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Remember Ask Jeeves, dude? He used to tell us everything. I wish he was still
That
around.
butler was good for everything.
I assume Phobic is Googling this.
These chest GPS monitors help track heart rate, calorie burning, and energy output throughout practice or games. And then Panic Chronic said, "Hello, Yahoo." Well,
so there you go.
Hello to you too.
Man, you guys missed a hell of a show. Were you guys playing video games?
Yeah, if you're just signing on Panic Chronic, you're gonna want to watch this one. It was a doozy. We watched Tom almost end his own life.
My wife told me to calm down because I was gonna. Oh, so Phobic, we talked about the nipple thing earlier, or the sports bra thing earlier. Oh, he was in a game of Dota. I figure, Dota, baby.
Yeah.
I love that Phobic spells out the game the way it's supposed to be spelled, DOT capital A, like capital DOT capital A, instead of just putting DOT lowercase a. Like that's how
he did the whole thing in capitals.
No, in the stream tap, in the stream chat, it shows up as all capitals. In the actual text, like the thing on the side, it's all how they really spell it.
Oh.
Defense of the Ancients. Oh, I see. So that's why it's capital A. Ancients.
Yeah, in the title, you capitalize the important words.
Well, of is probably the most important word in that.
I assure you it is not.
All right, Pat, get us out of here, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I say good day. Sensitive nipples.
Oh, I cut it off before you said sensitive nipples. Guys, thanks for watching today, man.
Some good news, you don't have to go to the gym because you got quite the workout in.
Dude, I am fucking well. Like I can feel like my brain pulsating. I'm so aggravated about that little thing. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Right. Appreciate you. We'll see you hopefully Wednesday. No problem, Pan. We appreciate you stopping by when you had a chance. I'm sure you'll enjoy the show. Deuces.